What is going on, my boy people, and welcome back. Yes, back to another video. You know, it's been about a week ago. Okay. Anyways, forget that. Never did that. So we're back. I know y'all want me to do reactions, but I want to have a little bit of fun, and I'm actually going to post this one. But we are doing a tier list today. See if we can maybe get a couple of these out. I just want to have fun with it. I'm really in a Ranger mood right now. And yeah, so first one we're doing is Red Ranger tier list. This looks like it goes all the way up. See, this does not seem like enough Rangers. We'll figure it out. This goes all the way up to Beast Morphers. I do not see Zato on here. If I did see him on here, which I don't, boy would be up in S class. But let's get started. We're gonna go in order the best we can. You know, Austin St. John, Red Ranger, the OG, one of the greatest leaders of Power Rangers. And that's not even going nostalgia. This dude put his neck on the line all the time for his team. And when he lost, he took it the hardest. Next, we're going to go Tommy. Tommy is red is good. Red Tommy's not my favorite. Black Tommy is. Dino Thunder. But I like Red Tommy a lot. And so Zero Ranger 5 goes right there. Turbo. If we're talking TJ, I love me some TJ. I'm going to put him in A. If we're talking blue space, for sure. Space. Speaking of space. Andros. Same thing. Here's the thing about Andros, man. He had to grow on me. And this is me going back and rewatching it. Because Andros. Can y'all see me? Because I feel like I'm. Okay, just making sure. Thing about Andros is he's very much a loner, has his own story going on, bumped the team. That's why TJ had to step up and be leader as blue, in my opinion. That's how I've always taken it, is that Andros himself was not the strongest leader. TJ was the leader of that team. Andros happened to be red. But he was still a good Ranger. So, Lost Galaxy, Leo. Leo's also A. Leo had some really great moments, but at the beginning he was very naive. And he was all about Mike. It was all about Mike with him. So, those familial bonds. Andros has the same problem. Familial bonds, man, they ruin you. All right, Lightspeed Rescue. Carter Grayson. Had a lot of heart. Very much had a lot of heart. In fact, I would move him almost up to S class just because he is so strong. You know, bump that. I am moving him up to S class because he's Carter Grayson, man. One of my favorites. Oh, we skipped Arco. Arco for me is going to go down to a B just because he didn't have a whole lot to do. I mean, he technically wasn't the leader of the team. He was just kind of there. It was cool to see him return in Forever Red, but he didn't do anything. He's never really done anything. But he's not, I wouldn't say D ranked by any means. But yeah, that's how I feel. Y'all going to chastise me for this. I know. You're like, why is Andros in A and Carter's up in S? I'm telling you, Carter had more heart than Andros did. And from the jump, he wasn't selfish about it. He was in it for the people from the jump. We are going to Time Force. Where you at? Wesley Collins, the Red Time Force Ranger. Wes is definitely, for sure, as well, an S class. He has a character growth. He had a familial bond, but the thing was he got away from it. And his growth as a character is such a strong growth for a Red Ranger. I love Andros again, but Andros didn't have the same growth that Wes did. Wes had a huge growth from the beginning of the season to the end. And he had the heart of a Red Ranger. He kept fighting. He took on a bunch of Ranzik's men by himself because Eric was out. Time Force, Wild Force. Where are you at? There you are. Guardians of the Earth. United we roar. Cole was good. I got to give him a B, though. The season altogether is just a B. It wasn't a strong season on its own. It had 2 giant team-ups in it, and I think those team-ups are what saves the season. But the Rangers themselves, as much as I love each of them individually, as a team, it didn't hit the mark on some things. And then Kite was just but that's not Cole's fault, but Cole as a Ranger, I give him a B. Just a little bit too naive. and there wasn't much growth until the right at the end. So, going to one of my favorites, Shane. I love me some Shane. Shane's one of my favorite Red Rangers, but I will also have to give him a B as well, just because. May he rest in peace. As well as JDF. I've covered JDF so much on this channel so far, I didn't want to hammer that into the ground, but rest in peace to both of them. And I gotta give Shane a B just because he had some great moments, but like Cole, I just wish he could have been. They would have given him more moments to be a stronger leader, but that's just me. But Ninja Storm's one of my favorite seasons, but sadly I gotta put him at a B. I would put him in between a B and an A, like a B and a half. But next thing is Dino Thunder. Connor is the same thing. Connor has growth, but he backslides a lot as well. I was more interested in Tommy and Ethan and even Trent to a point. I did not really care about Connor a whole lot in Dino Thunder. He just was a character that I was like, oh, he's a Red Ranger. Oh, he's a Red Ranger. Next up, we have SPD, Jack Landers. That boy definitely gets up here for sure. Jack goes from being street rat, street thug, street Robin Hood, to going back to helping out people, but in that he learns who he is, and I love his growth. I love the relationship between him and Z. I love the relationship between him and Sid. I love the relationship between him and Sky. His connection to his Rangers is very close to the connection that Jason had to his, and I love it so much. And that's what Power Rangers needs to be. These people who are from different worlds coming together, and the Red needs to be the one who's the glue of it. The only character I don't ever see him getting super close to is Bridge, but or even Sam at that. But he has a good relationship with Doggy, Sky, Sid, and Z, and I think the way the character goes out is very strong too. Let's see, who is next? It'll be Mystic Force. Yeah, right there. I was like, okay, am I missing something? Mystic Force Nick, gotta give him a C. I like Nick when I first watched the series. Going back at it, I do see he is not one of the strongest Rangers. In fact, I always felt Xander was more of the leader type than Nick was, and the only reason why Nick was red is because his father was red, and his mother was white. He had the Luke Skywalker. I'm sorry, my throat was getting throat was getting dry. He had the Luke Skywalker thing, and the thing with Luke is a great character, one of my favorite characters in Star Wars. Gosh darn it. But the problem was, it's like, when we talk about a character being given everything, Nick was given everything. He had a bond with Catastros. Then he got his own horse later on, and then he just kept getting things left and right. Ends up being like the chosen son that went missing, and he was given everything a lot. So that's where he's going C, because his character growth by the end of it didn't work. I loved his relationship with Madison, but the problem was it just, again, fell flat for me, and it sucks because I really liked him and Madison together. Next, we're moving on to Operation Overdrive. Mac. Put him at a C. He doesn't deserve to go to D. Some other people do. Mac comes from a terrible season with a lot of potential. I will say this. Overdrive had a lot of potential, but failed multiple times. Too many villains. Not enough focus on the main objective as a whole. It just really, for me, did not fit what Power Rangers is. Because you can go through all of these seasons, and they all, my wife and I are going through and watching. I'm cherry picking because she doesn't like all the filler, and Mighty Morph had a bunch of filler. So we're going through, right now we're in Zeo. But she said going from season 2 to season 3, the show felt different, and it felt weird for her. It alienated her. And that was the thing with Overdrive. It really alienated to the point where it didn't feel like Power Rangers until Once a Ranger. It felt like we're taking the concept of superheroes, but we're treasure hunters. It didn't feel right. Because Power Rangers is supposed to be about protecting the world. And I get getting the Corona Aurora was to stop Flurious and Moltar. I forgot what the Flame Dude's name is, but to stop them. But the thing was, it didn't feel right, and the characters just seemed full of themselves at the time, except for Mac. Mac was the only one who didn't, and that's why I'm giving him a C, because he's not crap. He just doesn't come from a strong season, and then the fact that he is Robo Boy also is very weird too. So moving forward, Jungle Fury. Casey going up here to an A. Casey is one of my favorite Red Rangers as well. He starts out as this bottom of the barrel student, faces up to Jared. Tiger comes out of him, gets chosen to be the Red. Is like, I don't think I can do this. Very much like Leo in a sense. And then through that ends up becoming one of the greatest Kung Fu masters in that season. To come back to Megaforce and then train Jake and Emma, and it's just I don't know, he just has a really good arc, and I love Jungle Fury anyways. So just the only character I think I have a problem with Jungle Fury is Theo, just because of how arrogant he is, and all he's very close to that in Dino Fury. Let's move forward. Next one is going to be RPM. Get in gear! I love me some Scott, but much like some of these guys here, he was just leader in Red. The focus was not on him. The focus was more on Dylan and Summer and their story. There are times where, and I like Scott a lot, don't get me wrong, but it never felt like he was the leader of the team. It felt like he was almost the token black guy of the group. Who happened to be the Red Ranger. They did give him a storyline with his father, but I wanted more. And it was just kind of like, oh, here you go. We got a black Red Ranger. Oh, but we're going to focus on this white dude over here who's the Black Ranger. That's kind of how it felt. I love RPM, don't get me wrong, but again, another Red Ranger who kind of gets the shaft. And that's just how it felt for me. My point with this here, and this happens with Finn in Star Wars. Don't create a character to make them a skin color. Create a character to give them a story. You had somewhat of a story with Scott at the beginning, but then nothing paid off. I never felt like he had any vendetta against any villain. There was nothing there. I love that with Jason. I love the back and forth with Goldar and him, or Tommy and Goldar. There just never felt to be anything personal, like Diabolico and Carter, or there's even Jin and Rancic. Like there's got to be something, and for Scott to be Red Ranger never felt like the leader to me. He always felt like, I'm supposed to be leader, but that's all I got. So. Next up, looking at it, is Samurai. Excuse me. I hate doing this. Hate doing it. Yeah, I knew I was going there, huh? Don't get me wrong. I enjoy Samurai for what it is. I actually collected when it came out. I was so excited for it. I purchased almost all the Zords. I purchased all the Rangers except for Pink because I couldn't get her. And it just let me down. There were some great moments in it, but it just let me down. It let me down. And Jaden just felt like a carbon copy of somebody else. He didn't feel like an actual character with an actual story. He had a story, but they like lightly alluded to it, and then when it happened, it was like, all right, I'm gonna leave now. And it's like, I don't know. I just feel like they could have done more with him. Alex Hartman's good. He's a good guy. I had a hard time with the character. And this is not me saying he's crap. This is just me saying, out of all the Rangers, he's one of the lower ones. And we're kind of getting into that now. Especially, this is the same freaking person. But all right. If there was an F class, this is where I would put them. Andrew Gray. Seems like a really chill. Wow. Seems like a really chill guy. But for me, Megaforce fell mega flat, and Super Megaforce fell mega flatter. The only good thing about Megaforce or Super Megaforce for me was the fact that we got Go-Kai-O, and I was able to get that. Even if it was Bandai America, I was able to get that, and plus the 5 core. So I have them, but I don't consider them Super Megaforce. I consider them Go-Kaiger. And I had all this stuff from Megaforce because I liked the looks of everything. I was so excited. It's 20th anniversary. And it was just like, this was a crap season. I feel disappointed. So again, this isn't because I'm trashing on the actor or whatever. It's just the character just didn't have anything. Like Troy had nothing. There was nothing there. Next, Dino Charge. I'm gonna put Dino Charge up at a B. To be fair, Tyler did get a lot more story. He was a Red Ranger. My thing was the familial thing. And remember, I talked about that. His whole drive is his father. Very much similar to the Red Ranger in Kyoryuger. But the way they did the story in that, I love both Dino Charge and Kyoryuger. The problem is, I've watched both to their fullest, and Kyoryuger is just the better story. It drives the story more, and I love the characters. I had a huge crush on the Pink Ranger, and not like that was important or anything, but I had this huge crush on the Pink Ranger when I was watching. I was like, I like her. The Blue Ranger, I loved him, like just the old man jokes and whatnot. It was great. There was so much there, and not saying Dino Charge is like a crappy copy, because it had its own things, and I love Dino Charge for what it is. Brennan Mahina is probably one of my favorite PR people that come around to cons and whatnot, and he's just so active in the community, and I love it. I just love his personality. The character of Tyler, besides his name, I want more. I wanted more beyond his dad, because when I felt with Super Dino Charge, things just didn't, and it wasn't his fault. It was just the story and the writing of Super Dino Charge just did not give him what he deserved. And so he's just missing out. And that's why he's in the middle of the line. Next, we got Brody. I'm going to put him on C. Here's the thing with Brody. For one, the actor who plays him, very super nice guy from what I can tell. Very into what he's doing. Brody has a cool story. Dad ends up going missing. Brother goes missing. Abducted by aliens. Having to work on their ship. My best friend is a robot named Redbot. I've got this mentor who's a weird lion race. Cool. And then it's a really cool, almost if you want to look at it, a Peter Quill kind of story, but it falls flat again because we lose that at first it was there, and then we just kind of lose the momentum of who he is, especially once we get Aiden and the dad back. It's like that story for me just kind of died down, and it was like, why even bother? It almost felt like an ensemble rather than this is the Red Ranger. It's like, oh, I'm Brody the Red Ranger, but here are my amazing friends. I'd have to go back and actually sit and watch Ninja Steel again and really pick on it and just see, okay, am I wrong? But Brody's not a bad Red Ranger. It's just I needed more, like Tyler. But he does go down in one class and then Devin. I'm going to put Devin at C as well. I love me some Devin, but boy howdy, that boy went back and forth. He was so freaking fickle on, am I going to take this ownership of this role, or am I going to play video games for the rest of my life? So, love me some Beast Morphers though. I am a Beast Morpher simp. Yeah. I was there. I was so excited when it came out. I was following all the actors. I was excited. Um, Good. I'm not a huge fan of the ending. Same thing with Dino Charge. Not a huge fan of the ending. Now, uh, but I love it. Now he's not on here, but I would put Zato at S class. Zato is my boy. He's one of my favorite Rangers of all time. He just they he I don't know how else to put it. The fact that he's an alien from the past who got Captain America, woke up, jumped into the fight, fish out of water, learning all these things, still learning all these things, but is as positive as he can be until Ion shows up and then is confronted by his past. And then it just, it's a story that I enjoy. It's a story I love. And I would put Zato up on S. Majority of the cast I would put at S rank personally for me. But I don't know, y'all. What do you guys think? Do you think that I'm crazy for making this list? I mean, let's look at it again. S rank, Mighty Morphin Zeo, Lightspeed Rescue. I know y'all are like, no, Andros belongs up there. Time Force, SPD, A Class, Turbo, TJ. We're not talking about Tommy. Turbo, Space, Galaxy, Jungle Fury, B rank, Alien Ranger, Wild Force, Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder, RPM, Dino Charge, C rank, Mystic Force, Overdrive, Ninja Steel, Beast Morphers, and D rank, Samurai, Megaforce, and Super Megaforce. I know. Some of you are like, Andros belongs on S rank. You're a fool. And I'm just like, it's my opinion. I love me some Andros, but I have never ever seen him as like the greatest Red Ranger of all time. If you're in S class, it means that you've had either a great story or you care about your team. And the thing is, all 5 of these guys either go through it or they're there from the jump. Very close to it. But the only reason why TJ's here is because as Turbo, he failed. Let's just admit it right now. TJ failed. I don't want to point fingers, but he failed. But anyways, I'm going to end this one here, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, do you really think that I effed up on my tier list? Because I think that's what it should be. I'm just saying. But yeah, I'm going to go. Bye.